Turkey's president keeps the pressure on Saudi Arabia over what he describes as the brutal and premeditated murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Erdogan demands an independent investigation, saying 18 Saudis suspected of involvement should be extradited to Turkey to stand trial. I'm Lauren Taylor. This is Al Jazeera, live from London. Also coming up, the Saudi king promises action on Khashoggi's death shortly before he and the Crown Prince meet Jamal Khashoggi's son to offer their condolences. With the CIA chief in Istanbul, Vice President Mike Pence vows the killing will not go without an American response. Hello. Turkish investigators may have discovered new clues in the case of murdered journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The discovery of clothes and a suitcase in an abandoned Saudi consulate car comes 3 weeks after Khashoggi was last seen. Turkey's president also increased pressure on Saudi Arabia. In an address to Parliament, Recep Tayyip Erdogan described Khashoggi's death as a brutal and premeditated murder. Erdogan demanded all those involved, from top to bottom, be held accountable for the crime. He's called for an independent investigation into the killing and wants 18 suspects extradited to Turkey to stand trial. Saudi Arabia's King Salman has promised to punish anyone found responsible for the death, whoever they may be. Shortly after, he and the Crown Prince met Khashoggi's son in Riyadh to offer their condolences. Meanwhile, CIA Director Gina Haspel is in Turkey reviewing evidence into Khashoggi's killing. US Vice President Mike Pence warned it will not go without an American response. And Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is expected to speak within the hour. Charles Stratford has more from Istanbul.
3 weeks after Jamal Khashoggi was killed inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkish investigators examine more potential clues. Forensic experts searched a Saudi consulate car believed to have been abandoned in an underground car park on the day Khashoggi was killed. Clothing, suitcases and a computer are among the items taken away. During a speech to his party MPs in Ankara, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said the Saudi journalist was the victim of a savage, premeditated murder. He said that 3 Saudis went on a reconnaissance mission to a forest near Istanbul, presumably to look for somewhere to bury his body.
We have strong evidence that this was a premeditated murder. In the light of the information we have, everybody has questions. Here are the questions. These 15 people, why did they come to Istanbul on the day of the murder? Who ordered them to come to Turkey? We need an answer.
Turkish government sources released new security camera video on Tuesday of the suspected 15-member hit squad. The video reportedly shows the men, including high-ranking intelligence agents and an autopsy expert at Istanbul airport, before leaving on 2 private jets on the evening of October the 2nd, the same day that Khashoggi was killed in the consulate. The team, which also included a bodyguard of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, arrived earlier in the day and was seen entering the consulate hours before Khashoggi arrived. Turkey's president is demanding answers from the Saudis. The Saudi foreign minister has said Khashoggi was killed in a huge and grave mistake.
Where is the body of Jamal Khashoggi? Nobody knows where the body is. It is alleged that the body was given to a local cooperator. So who is the local cooperator? We need to know who that is.
Erdogan said he didn't doubt the credibility of King Salman, but notably didn't mention his heir apparent, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The Saudis deny he was linked to the killing of the journalist who criticised him. At a meeting of ministers in Riyadh, King Salman stressed what he called the directives and royal orders following the unfortunate event that led to the death of citizen Jamal Khashoggi. The kingdom has taken procedures to clarify the truth and to hold accountable those who were negligent, whoever they are, King Salman added. The king was shown meeting Khashoggi's son and another family member to offer condolences alongside the Crown Prince. Hours later, the Crown Prince, who hasn't been seen in public for days, appeared briefly at the Saudi investment summit that champions his 2030 vision. Some analysts are disappointed with what the Turkish president revealed.
Erdogan was asking what happened to the body of Jamal Khashoggi. Well, the people were expecting him to tell us what happened to the body of Jamal Khashoggi, which wasn't answered. Whether the dismemberment of the body happened, the video recording, the audio recording, these are all questions that are not answered.
Well, Charles Stratford joins us live from outside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. A lot of questions there remaining unanswered. Where do we go from here?
Well, that investigation, the Turkish investigation, seems to be intensifying here in Turkey. Obviously, the Saudis saying that their investigation is going forward also. There's going to be a lot of focus on, obviously, on finding a body. We understand that, obviously, a point of interest are these two areas outside of Istanbul, the Belgrade Forest and an area called Yalova, where President Erdogan described that group of consulate workers the day before Khashoggi disappeared, going on a reconnaissance mission, so he said, implying that they were looking for somewhere to bury the body. There's also expected to be increasing focus on finding this so-called collaborator, important because, so government leaks tell us, he or she indeed may well have handled Khashoggi's body as it was transferred from the consulate to a car. Interestingly, the European Parliament say that they have received an appeal from Khashoggi's fiancée, Khadija Cengiz, and following that appeal, they say, or the head of the European Parliament, Antonio Tajani, is calling for an independent and rigorous investigation to bring to justice not only the perpetrators, but those who ordered it. And we've also already heard in the last couple of days that the Turks are very much into that kind of idea as well. Not only President Erdogan calling for an independent investigation if needed, but his foreign minister as well, saying that if the International Criminal Court or the United Nations wanted an independent investigation into this crime, then the Turks would fully cooperate. I think also there's going to be obviously great emphasis put on the possibility of Mr. Erdogan getting what he wants, which is the extradition of these 18 men. Certainly if you speak to legal experts, as we have, they're saying that despite the Vienna Convention that gives diplomatic staff diplomatic immunity, you know, if a crime is as heinous, is as terrible as this one, then there are ways of getting them back to the respective countries to be tried where the crime was committed. A lot of unanswered questions. It's been a very interesting day, certainly that speech from President Erdogan. More reaction from around the world coming in all the time. The pressure on Saudi Arabia continues, and the investigation here is intensifying.
Charles Stratford, thank you very much. The G7 group of nations released a statement earlier condemning Khashoggi's murder and adding that even now Saudi Arabia's explanations leave many unanswered questions. US Vice President Mike Pence has also spoken about the case. Here's some of what he had to say.
The brutal murder of Jamal Khashoggi at the Saudi consulate in Turkey was a tragedy for his family, for his loved ones, and for your colleagues here at the Washington Post. It was also an assault on a free and independent press. And our administration is determined to use all means at our disposal to get to the bottom of it.
Shihab Ratanzi joins me now from Washington, D.C. Shihab, do we know what the response is likely to be from the US as they keep on suggesting that they want to get to the bottom of it, but do we have any idea of the response itself?
I mean, it's a huge question. We keep on hearing from various members of the administration something terrible has happened. We need to have transparency. We need to know the truth. The question inevitably when it comes to Washington realpolitik, geopolitics and so on is, does the administration actually mean it? Or is this simply a search for a mutually acceptable explanation between Ankara, Riyadh and Washington? Donald Trump, for his part, once again questioning the Turkish narrative in an interview with USA Today overnight, saying that he seems to think it was a plot that had gone awry. Those were his words. He questioned the bonesaw part of the narrative, for example. So he's still raising questions. But then, whenever Donald Trump is pushed, he always suggests that he would feel a great deal of personal betrayal if it was to transpire that the Crown Prince or the King himself did have something to do with it. So that's the wild card, which suggests, well, does that mean then, if incontrovertible evidence does come up, that the US will act rather firmly, or will it be business as usual? President Obama was a great example of this. He would be rhetorically very tough with the Saudis. Once things had blown over, he'd basically give the Saudis whatever they wanted. Will that pattern just continue once this all does generally blow over? Donald Trump, though, saying in that interview with USA Today, though, that he would be prepared to take congressional direction on any action against the Saudis once the truth, if it ever does, comes out.
And we're all expecting a briefing from Mike Pompeo. Do we think there's going to be anything new on this from that?
We're not sure exactly what it's about, but certainly, if given the opportunity, he's certainly going to be asked about the Khashoggi affair. We keep on being told that the truth, or at least the US's understanding of the truth, will be revealed, at least to the administration itself, in the coming days. Jared Kushner on Monday saying they were still at a fact-finding stage. Gina Haspel, the director of the CIA, is in Turkey, looking at information we understand, but we don't have much details, as you might expect, as to what exactly she's up to. So we keep on being told that the administration at least will satisfy itself of the facts in the coming days. And that was said a couple of days ago. So we will keep an eye on what Pompeo says. How much we'll actually get to hear about what the administration really finds out, well, you know, you never know, really, do you?
Shihab, thank you very much indeed.